All right, everybody. Welcome to another live edition of the Hypeman podcast. This is your host, Leroy or Leroy. Either way, it's your boy. And I'm here and I'm live, L-I-V-E live. L-I-V-E live tonight. It is May 15th. Man, I can't believe it's May 15th. God. It's May 15th, 6 p.m., wherever you are. Welcome to another live edition. Tonight we are going to continue our discussion on The Last Dance, the Chicago Bulls documentary that has mostly got fantastic reviews. I've had a great time watching it. I look forward to watching that every Sunday night, staying up till like 11 midnight, watching it because I don't watch it live. I DVR it and I watch it. But yeah, man, episode 7 and 8. Woo, it's been good, man. It's been good. Episode 7 was, Mike's whole reputation and all that stuff with his gambling issues, how his leadership was, and how like some people say, is he is he a dictator or what? I don't think it was a dictator. They called him something like that. I can't remember what it was. But just being flat out, just hard, just being a bully, just being, a pain in the butt to everybody. But like his teammates said, though, at the time, yeah, Michael Jordan, he wasn't a nice guy. He wasn't nice to be around and on the court. But all of his teammates said, but they finally realized what he was trying to do, and that was just trying to get the best out of you, man. Every day, every night, even in practice, man, working hard in practice. I remember one scene he was talking about. Who was it? I think I'm jumping the gun. We're still talking about the 1993 title. So we're talking about that whole instance. I was about to jump into episode 8, boy. It was just, some certain things just stand out to you in some episodes more than others. But yeah, let me stick on topic here with episode 7 with Michael Jordan's whole gambling issue, and the Bulls were going for their third straight title, and Michael's gambling issues and all that stuff, and like I said before in the last episode, they were saying how Michael's got he doesn't have a gambling problem. No, I don't have a gambling problem. I have a competition problem. He's competitive. He has a competitive problem, not competition. He has a competitive problem. And I think that was back in episode 5 or 6, but I was shaking my head like, yeah, but I love it, baby. I love his competitiveness, man. That's what sets him apart from everybody else. Absolutely. And then, during that time too, man, it's unfortunate that what happened with Michael Jordan's dad, who's been there with him with all of his games through his professional career, especially through the playoffs, and all that stuff that happened after the Bulls won their third straight championship when they beat the Phoenix Suns 4-2. I remember the little clip they had with Charles Barkley when the Bulls thought, they're going to sweep the Suns at home. It's over, all this, that, and the other. And, of course, the Bulls didn't get it done. But, Charles Barkley, waving me, bye-bye, bye-bye and all that stuff, not tonight and things like that. That had me cracking up laughing. Because Charles Barkley to me is a funny dude anyway. But I like the message that Michael Jordan sent to his team as, when they lost game 5. Yeah, when they lost game 5 in Chicago, heading back to Phoenix. Mike told all the boys in the locker room, hey, I'm only packing one suit. So you know what that means? That means that this ain't lasting, 2 more games. This is it. I'm only packing one suit to head out to Phoenix, and that's it. I'm not coming back. So that had me cracking up, but that was the man's motivation. I was like, woo, that is, man, only Michael Jordan going there and tell his teammates, hey, I'm packing only one suit, and that's that. That was cold. That was cold, but I was like, yeah, Mike, yeah, baby. Just to hear all the inside stuff that we didn't hear, especially back then in the 90s. They didn't have all this stuff that they have now. So excuse me for one second. Knock it off. All right, sorry about that, folks. Okay, I'm back. So yeah, to beat the Phoenix Suns 4-2 and all that, that stuff. And I love how Michael said he found motivation in beating Phoenix because Charles Barkley won the MVP that season, and that's all the motivation Michael need to go out there and whip the Phoenix Suns. But I'm like, man, this dude found motivation in every little thing. I'm like, whoo, man, you look at Mike the wrong way, man. Game over. Just look down. But I don't know, if you look down at him, he might look at that as disrespect or an insult. So he might, put up 55 on you and you only have 4 points. Man, that's the one thing, man. Mike put fear in everybody's hearts, man. Put fear in everybody's heart. That's something that players today cannot say. Ain't nobody afraid of nobody in players today, but Mike scared the heck out of the best, man. Oh, that's unbelievable. Gives me chills every single time I watch this series. But I was mentioning before too, when the Bulls won the championship, man. I remember watching that game live, staying up late with my dad. It was a West Coast game, so we talked to 11, almost close to 11 o'clock our time here in the Midwest, and I remember staying up, and then Bulls had a chance to win, and like Paxton said, that ball wasn't supposed to come to him, but he was ready, knocked down that three. Woo! I remember that, man. I was a teenager. Yeah, 95, 96, yeah. Man, yep, MJ, you got that right, Aiden. Hands down, the GOAT, baby. Greatest of all time, period. But yeah, and the Bulls went on winning it, and then during that whole that off season, man, that was strange, man, because I didn't know that back when even back when Mike was on the Dream Team, he was talking to the people closest to him, in the media, saying that he was thinking about retiring. Even then, in the next, year or so. And I was like, wow, why would a guy who's got so much still left in the tank retire? But I was like, man. And then it was just unfortunate that, Michael's dad got killed. And then, Mike left the game. And, man, I remember that. I was a kid, man. I'm pretty sure I was crying. Just because Bulls were on such a high, and then just to lose the great Michael Jordan, in all those different circumstances, and to lose him like that, and I was like, man, the Bulls about to be just they gonna be all right. They still had Scotty, but I'm like, man, that was something else. And then with the whole speculation of why is he retiring, and they were trying to tie in a whole bunch of BS with, it's his gambling. And they tried to tie in his gambling issues with the death of his dad. I'm like, man, the media is sick, dude. The media is sick. They'll twist and turn anything just to get a story out. They don't care if it's true or false. They damn sure don't care if it's true, because truth's not going to generate ratings or buy papers off the shelves. So. But even David Stern, the commissioner at the time, was saying all that was BS, talking about that they put Mike on the NBA put Mike on an 18-month suspension due to his gambling and tie-ins with this and that and all this other stuff. I'm like, geez, Louise, like Mike never came out and said he was perfect. He never did. He never did came out and said he was perfect. But that was a crazy off season with Mike retiring, and they were showing scenes of people in the city, just in the streets, up in the work offices, just watching the press conference and all that stuff. And Mike said he was good. He was in a good place. He wanted to retire, and all that stuff. He had no regrets at the time. And then me as a teenage kid, I'm like, nah, man, he's got to come back. This can't be it. This can't be it. And then the Bulls went on without him. Mike went to go play. He went to go play baseball for the White Sox. And man, let's see. My feelings at the time was I was still hurt. I didn't want to. Part of me didn't. In my mind, which is wrong, but as again a 15-year-old kid being selfish, I really didn't want him to succeed in the game of baseball just because I just knew him as a basketball player and all that stuff. But now I'm being the age I am now. I mean, I totally get it. If that's what the man wanted to pursue, he got every right to pursue what he wants to pursue. Like he said in the documentary, he was like, people are gonna, say this, say that. You should do this, you should do that. But ultimately, it's what you want to do. That's what he wanted to do. He was saying that his dad wanted him to play baseball, and so he went on ahead and tried that. And then I didn't know he had a 13 game hitting streak when he first started in the minor. In the White Sox minor leagues, and then having that break and that time away from basketball and all that stuff, they were saying that like he was relieved from all that to where he could be himself. And he was this big, huge global figure, but the guys that he was playing with, his teammates on the minor league team, they just treated him like one of the guys, and he loved it. Yep, Amy, it wasn't the same when he left. I bet you Cub fans are like, what the? Why in the world would he join the White Sox? It was because Jerry's Reindorf also owned the White Sox too, so I'm sure they had something to do with it as well. I think Jerry even mentioned that. But I know Cub fans are just like, you gotta be kidding me. Man, but you know what, Amy, I wasn't even thinking about that at the time back then in 90 what was it, 94, 93, 94. Yeah, because Mike took a 2-year hiatus. Yeah, so 93 through 95. I wasn't even thinking about that. I was, they were like, Mike, again, being a selfish high school kid, Mike ain't supposed to be playing baseball. He's supposed to be playing basketball. He's supposed to be with the Bulls. And I'm just, and then at the time watching the Bulls without Mike, and then Scotty was a lead role. And like they said in the documentary, the triangle worked great, man. With Mike not being there, everybody had to step up. They would pass the ball around. The Bulls still had a really good, decent, a pretty good record at the time too. I think that was the year they got. They got Pete Myers to replace Michael Jordan at the time. I don't know why. Well, I know why Pete Myers' name sticks out to me, because that's who they picked up to replace Michael Jordan. I just laugh. Back then, they got nothing. They got nothing wrong against my boy Pete Myers now, but back then, like I said, a kid didn't know any better. It was just still hurt. That MJ wasn't on the Bulls anymore. But the Bulls had a decent record. Tony Kukoc came on the scene. Tony Kukoc was actually when Tony Kukoc, he did mention he made a couple of game winners before that big one. What was that? I'm trying to remember who that team was against, where it was like what was it, 1.8 seconds left, and he made that shot, and Scottie Pippen decided not to come in the game. And I'm just like, why is Scottie Pippen not in the game? And then Tony Kukoc made that shot, and that's what took Tony Kukoc's start to new heights, man. After he made that shot, and Scottie was on the bench just because Scottie. I get it, Scotty. With Mike gone, you the man, but at the same time, you gotta be a team player. And then he was being selfish. And like Mike said in the documentary, that was gonna haunt that play, and that situation was gonna haunt Scotty for the rest of that. That was gonna be the black cloud on his whole career. And he was right, because it still is, man. it just tell you how, and I get it from a superstar being selfish, but at the same time, it's about team. You make the shot, you high five him, and I know Scotty had an issue with he didn't want to inbound the ball, so. Why should he be inbounding the ball? It should be somebody else inbounding the ball. But I mean, it all worked out in the end. But to hear, Tony Kukoc's comments on that and Scotty's and Michael's comments on that too, saying that Scotty's going to regret that for his whole entire career. And Scotty admits it. He was like, if he can go back, he would do it all completely differently. And to realize that moment. Even though, Tony Kukoc is pumping his fist and everybody's, jumping on him, the crowd's going crazy. That at the time, man, the team was just like at disarray and you can even say the press, just the fact that Scottie Pippen, who's supposed to be the leader of the team, didn't he had a nasty attitude, period. He just had a nasty attitude to the whole thing. And Bill Cartwright was still on the team, and Bill Cartwright said that it took Bill Cartwright to talk to the whole team was there, talk to Scotty, and like Bill said, like they said, Bill Cartwright was crying. He couldn't believe how disappointed he was in Scottie Pippen. He was supposed to be one of our leaders. Like, that's not Scottie Pippen. Like, where did this childish behavior come from? And man, Bill, dude, I get it. I bet you if I was one of them Bulls, I'd be ripped and torn apart too. Like, this ain't you. This isn't you. This isn't your character. And yeah, Scotty took a whole lot. He took a whole lot of flack. Questions. He's trying to dodge all the questions. Just want to focus on the game, and and then once they finally hashed it out as a team and got it going, they got it rolling again. And they got to the Eastern Conference Finals against the New York Knicks, which I truly believe to this day, if the Bulls would have beaten the Knicks, I believe they would have beaten Houston in a 7-game series, and Scotty and the crew would have won the championship without Mike. I honestly do believe that if it wasn't for that god awful call from Hugh Hollins. Bulls fans, y'all know which call I'm talking about. The call that wasn't a call, that phantom call from Hugh Hollins. But I honestly believe that the Bulls would have beat Houston in a 7-game series, even with the team that they had. But yeah, and then next season came around, and the following season came around after that, and the Bulls weren't that good, and they were struggling. And then Mike was still doing his baseball thing, but then you can see, like in the dugout, he was still, like Mike said, he was still watching the Bulls games. He's still a fan. All this other stuff, and he would to be in the dugout, TV be on to be watching them. And he watched, when the Bulls lost against the New York Knicks in the Eastern Conference Finals and all that stuff. And, of course, that's when questions started stirring around. Mike, are you thinking about coming back? And Mike's like, no, I'm just still a fan of all that stuff. And I'm me, teenage kids still, please, praying, please come back. Please come back. Just because we all do that, man, so have a lot more basketball left. Was it selfish of me to think like that? Heck yeah, it was. I was a teenager. Huge Michael Jordan fan. Greatest of all time. Still to this day, when I watch the man's films during that documentary, I got tears in my eyes because all that emotion just comes back. And it just brings you back to those good old days. And it's like, man. I'm like, and I never tear up and cry to any other athlete documentaries that I watch or any other clip. Nobody but him. Nobody. Yeah, laugh all you want to and then me cry. That's all right. When you're watching the greatest of all time, it's okay. It's okay to cry. Absolutely I did. But, speculation was going around in Chicago. And then I remember that too, that same clip that they showed when Michael or Scotty had the Jordans on and he put his feet up and they had the Michael Jordan logo. And Scotty saying, "Come on back, baby. Come on back." And the Bulls were like, 30 and 33 or 31 and 33 by the time Michael Jordan did return. And Yeah, it was him and BJ Armstrong went to met up at Baker Square in Chicago. And what BJ said, had pancakes, and BJ was like, yeah, why don't you come on and meet the old crew, man, say hi, see what happens. And thank you, BJ Armstrong, for saying that, because the rest is history after that. So BJ and Mike tell each other to the Berto Center. Mike is taking jump shots and having practice and all that stuff. And all of a sudden, the great one gets the itches, and he gets that itch, and it needed to be scratched, and he scratched it. And then what was that? March? What did they say? What day they said it was? March. Oh man, was the 11, 16, 15, 13, 14, something like that. I can't remember the exact date, but I know it was March something. But man, when they said, I'm back, that's it. I remember that tabloid, boy. I'm back against the Indiana Pacers. Man, again, crying. So happy the man was back wearing 45. Why is he wearing 45? He should be wearing 23. I think I remember saying that's not Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan doesn't wear 45, but after listening to the documentary, he's new beginnings. It was like 23 was the last number his dad saw him playing, and he just wanted to start fresh. So I was like, all right, and then after a while, I remember the game, the 55-point game he put up against the Knicks. When he came back, I was like, he's starting. Here he comes. The man's slowly but surely coming back, and it's more than slowly surely because he hit a game winner against Atlanta too. Yeah, I remember some of those games, and then the playoff game against the Orlando Magic. Man. Yeah. When the Bulls lost and Nick Anderson made the biggest mistake of his basketball professional career when he said 45 ain't 23. Oh, you big dummy. You big dummy. It's like poking a man. It's like poking a man. He's like, man ain't gonna do nothing. Man not gonna do nothing. Just keep poking him. Nick Anderson, to this day, he admits that's the biggest mistake of his professional career was to say that 45 ain't 23. And man, and that was the summer when Mike was filming Space Jam and all that stuff, but he had some of the NBA's best playing in a pickup game, and they built him his own gym as he was filming and all this stuff. I'm like, whoo. And then the man just wanted to test himself against the best of at that time of today's game, and man, battle them left and right. Michael just wanted to see where he was at, and then once he got his legs going, like Reggie Miller said, that was some of the best pickup ball that he's ever played in his career. God, I couldn't stand Reggie Miller back then. I don't mind him now. I don't mind Reggie at all now, but man, as a player, I couldn't stand his butt. He used to get on my nerves. Playing for the Indiana Pacers, but I even know he was out there in Warner Brothers Studios playing out there with Mike. So I was like, man, there was a lot of big name dudes out there playing with Mike. Hey, that's cool, man. That's love right there. That's love and respect, no doubt. He was doing all that, and then come the following year, boy, like his teammate said, he was a man on a mission. He was a man on a mission, because I bet you the whole entire time that stupidity that came out of Nick Anderson's mouth, 45 is not 23. That stuck with Mike that whole entire year, and he just took it out on everybody the following season until they met up with the Orlando Magic again, and the Bulls beat the brakes off of them, swept those boys, beat. Whoo, like Horace Grant said, Mike was probably he was like, man, he was probably wishing and praying, I want to meet the Orlando Magic. And that was the Eastern Conference Finals or the semis. I think it might have been the Eastern Conference Finals, because that was the time. That was the time they got. That was the '95 season. That was the 72-10. Yeah, let me backtrack. That was the 72-10 team. That was the rock stars back then, man. The Beatles. Yeah, them boys were selling out all over the place. That's right. That's when they got the worm, baby. Dennis Rodman. We didn't know how the world that was going to work. Horace Grant went off with Orlando. Yeah. Let me backtrack. Yeah. Horace Grant went off to Orlando. Pumping his fist. The year before when Mike wore 45, and all that did was piss the man off. And then what did Mike do? Once Mike turned back to 23, everybody was like, uh-oh. Oh no. Superman put back on his cape. Uh-oh. What do we do? Nick, why'd you have to say that? Now the whole league gonna be terrorizing. It was, man. Mike beat up the whole league. Him and the Bulls, they beat up the whole league. They got Dennis Rodman, didn't know how that was gonna work. But like they said in many previous episodes in this documentary that hold on for 1 second. All right, sorry about that, folks. I'm trying to figure out where I was at. With Dennis Rodman and all that. Once it got Dennis, that like they said in the earlier episodes of the documentary, that Mike, Scotty, and Phil knew how to work with Dennis. They knew what type of cat he was. They had respect for him and all that stuff, and they made it work. They were just come to play, and boy, did Dennis come to play. My goodness. Bulls beat the pants off of people. I mean, if you go up against that team, you might as well. Literally, you were just showing up to get your butt whooped and get a paycheck. That's about it. You're not winning. You're losing by 30. You're just out there, baby. You're just out there getting exercise. That's it. You're just out there, up there, and running up and down the court, man, just getting your cardio on. That's about it. But man, I mean, what did they say? They didn't lose their third game until more than halfway through the season or something like that. To where I remember I can't remember who it was. Was it Judd Butler? No, that wasn't Judd Bush. I think it was Bill Winnington. I think Bill Winnington said that Scottie Pippen would look at the calendar and say, "Oh, we're not going to lose this month." And it'd be like 15, 20 games on the calendar. And Scotty'd be right. I'm like, God, woo-wee. Boy, that still, I don't care what they say about the Golden State Warriors. They don't even come close to these boys. Even if Golden State ended up losing the championship. So that's what made me laugh. But still, even if they would have won, no way in the world. They would have been no way in the world. They should have been compared to the 95 Bulls. Are you kidding me? But yeah, man, the Bulls were beating everybody's butt in the playoffs. I think they didn't lose a game until the conference. The Eastern Conference Finals. Yeah, the Eastern Conference Finals. But yeah, they smoked Orlando, boy, and Horace Grant knew. He knew, boy, when that series was going to start between them and Orlando. Horace knew they didn't have, like he said, they didn't have a chance. Michael and the crew ate them up, man. That's why I love hearing these stories, man. Because these guys, how they explain it, it's so real and just fun to me. I'm just like, hey, man, y'all just talking how it is. Y'all know, man. When you talk smack to the man, man, you might as well just pack your bags and go home because it's over. Oh man, because it is absolutely over, man. I mean, and then what was it? It was when I'm gonna backtrack a little bit here. When they faced the Utah Jazz, and the Utah Jazz swept them during the regular season in '95. I think that was one of the two losses that the Bulls had, and everybody's talking about, oh, the Utah Jazz, they they're the next team up. They're the team of the future. This, that, and the other. And like I don't know who it was who said in the documentary. There's like, yeah, they had Stockton, Malone, Hornacek, and all these guys. But yeah, man, Bulls have Michael Jordan. So pretty much they saying Mike is a one-man army, man. As long as Mike is with the Bulls and the crew, I don't care who you got on the opposing side. You can have six legends. They ain't gonna beat the ultimate legend. No way, man. That one. No. Let me take that back. That wasn't against the Utah Jazz. I take that back. Went ahead of myself. That was against the Seattle Supersonics. That was against the Supersonics. So you have to catch myself. That was against the Supersonics when they went 72-10. So that was against Gary Payton, Sean Kemp. What's it? Detlef Schrempf was on that team at that time. Hersey Hawkins. Yeah. I'm take that back. I'm ahead of myself, y'all. I'm so excited. I'm getting ahead of myself. But yeah, that's when they went against the Seattle Supersonics. And Gary Payton's not ignorant. Gary Payton isn't ignorant. His cocky. Gary Payton was so cocky. Oh. You know what? I couldn't. He was arrogant, but Gary Payton's one of the greats, no doubt, man. No doubt, Gary was the greats, but I couldn't stand that smug look he would give every time. Oh, and then the fact that when Gary Payton was talking about what was he say? When they tied up the series or something like that against the Bulls, and Gary Payton was talking about, if I would have did what I did to Mike in those games, in the first two games, who knows? And Mike is just laughing. The man is laughing so hard, his stomach hurt. Gary's talking all this nonsense, and the ghost is laughing. You know you're the baddest basketball player to play. When you say years later and you just laughing. And Mike is like, man, please get this out my face. But Gary Payton was a cocky player, but they didn't call him the glove for nothing. And then what did Mike do? Mike shut him down too. Mike shut the glove down, shut down the Rain Man. It wasn't just Mike; it was the crew too, boy. Ron Harper was a good defensive player too, man. Yeah, and they said Kukoc, 6-man, come off the bench, doing his thing. Luke Longley, every once in a while, he'll dunk on somebody's face. Luke Longley had a nice mid-range jumper, him and Bill Wennington. Yeah, Bill Wennington didn't mind dunking. Boy, that's what I liked about Bill Wennington. He'll go up two hands every time. and he'll always hit that corner jumper. Yeah, man. God, that was the crew. Woo! Man, that was the crew against the Seattle Supersonics. And then Mike had me cracking up when he said that him and George Karl, who was the head coach of the Supersonics at the time, Mike was out to dinner with some friends, and he saw George Karl, and George Karl didn't even acknowledge him. And Mike took that offensively, and he was like, okay, all right, yep. Let's see what happens. And this is before the series even started. Mike is just going, yep, okay. I'm like, George, you should have just said hi. Give him a head nod, something, man. Why you had to do that, man? Why you had to do that, man? Oh, you didn't say, hey, Mike, man, how you doing? Hey, good luck. But then Mike could have said, could have turned the way you said good luck. So, he think he's better than me. He think he's better than us. This is how the man's mentality was. But yeah, that was definitely Mike's mentality. And I was like, well, and then that was another thing too. Mike's leadership is in question, and they were like, oh, the crying Jordan's back and all that. The man just had that much passion for winning, and like he said, this the one line he said that stuck out of my head, man. When still now, probably till who knows when Mike was like, for those people, it's like, oh, why are you so hard on people, this, that, and the other? And and Mike cares about winning. And then when Mike said, he was like, for those folks who said this and that, him negative about him, he said, he said clearly you never won anything. When he said that, I was like, damn. And I started laughing just like I'm laughing now. I was like, oh, Mike, that's cold-blooded, man. That's cold-blooded. He said, apparently you never won anything. So he's like, so he pretty much said people who don't have that competitive spirit in them. Oh, man, that was cold. But, hey, man, let's come from the GOAT, baby. That's coming from the GOAT. Just like what Mike used to say about what was the guy's name? Oh, Scott Burrell. Yeah, they were when they were talking about Scott Burrell and how much of a nice guy he was. Mike used to try to get under his skin at practice every single time and just couldn't do it. And just couldn't do it. And Scott Burrell, Mike said, Scott Burrell, the nicest guy I've ever met. Nicest teammate, but he said I could never get him rattled. I could never get him upset. But what was that first round game against the New Jersey Nets? Game 3, they said Scott Burrell went, 9 from 11 from 3 with 23 points. I was like, well, but like Mike said, maybe my way didn't work, but it got to him somehow. It's just, hey, man, everybody's different. Everybody's different. But, like Scott Burrell said, when you're playing with that man, he just wants the best out of you. He just wants the best out of you. And that's true, man. Like they say, Mike may be a pain in the butt most of the times, but when you sit back and you look at it, all he wanted was the best out of you. And I was like, man, hey, man, props to Mike, man, for being the way that he was. Because he did, man. Mike made everybody better. And then, and then now that I think about it too, fast forward when they broke up the Bulls and all that stuff, and everybody went on their separate ways, every ex-Bull player was getting money, weren't they? They were all getting paid. Kukoc, Longley, Scotty, Steve Kerr. Every ex-player was getting banked. They were getting banked, man. So, hey, man, thank you, Mike, for, making them boys' pockets fatter. But yeah, man, that was when the Bulls won their 4th NBA title. I totally agree. Like I said in my last episode, I believe the Bulls, if Mike would have never retired and the Bulls never have broken up that dynasty, I honestly believe the Bulls would have won 8 to 10 championships. Honestly, in my mind, they would have won 10 for 10. They would have won 10 for 10 because they would have retooled in different ways. But that Jerry Krause, man. like people say, the Pixar villain, and I know Jerry's not here to, like they said, the man's not here to defend himself, but man, he definitely had an issue with the players getting all the gratification and the praise and all that stuff. Man, if I was Jerry Krause, I wouldn't care, man, as long as my pocket's getting fat. And I'm enjoying life, and I got all these rings and all these jewelry, and I got phone numbers to Mike, Scotty, and Dennis and the crew. I'm fine, boy. I wish I would play. I wish I would Jerry Krause back then, man. Nowhere in the world I would break up. I wouldn't break up that dynasty until, like Mike said, until we defend it and we lose it. Like Mike said, we defend it and we lose it, fine, break us up. But as long as we win it, I'm not breaking anything up. As long as the Mike and the crew want to stay together with Phil, I'm riding it, man. That's I don't understand it. It doesn't make any sense, man. It doesn't make any sense knowing the Bulls should have had 8 to 10 championships. Honestly, the Bulls should have won a championship because we all know the Houston Rockets 2 championships. Those were the Bulls, man. Let's just keep it real. I love Clyde Drexler and Hakeem Olajuwon, but man, please, no. If Michael had never retired, they would have gotten swept too. But yeah, man, that's why it's like who in their right mind? But jealousy, man, jealousy, envy. I don't understand if an organization is succeeding as it is. Why in the world would you want to break it up just because this dude and he got this dude is so thin skinned, man. It's unbelievable. Like I said, if I even if I was thin skinned or not, I'd have been looking around like, but we winning. And everything is good. I'm not about to end it. No way until until Mike and Phil and them tell me it's over. I'm not. Just keep firing them checks. If Mike wanted $50 million a year, guess what? Do it. You know. But yeah, it was a fantastic episode. 7 and 8. It was fun. Uh, like I said, I got them all. I got them all DVR'd. So these last two episodes 9 and 10 this Sunday, and you best believe I'm probably gonna watch them all again in order. I'll probably do a marathon. My wife gonna be asking me, "What you doing watching Mike?"
Oh boy! Y'all want him?
You talking small boy? I ain't gonna be the only one. Everybody else got that DVR. I'm gonna watch that from beginning to end. Get the popcorn ready.
He talks about me with my shows.
Get the popcorn. Get the popcorn and the drinks. We about to watch episode 1. Yeah, the real episode 1. Not that Phantom Menace.
Amy, save me.
The real episode 1, baby.
Oh wait, you like this stuff?
Yes, Amy. Yes. You the only one. My wife is not a sports fan.
Which is why I'm not doing these.
So, yeah. Which is why she doesn't do these, but she does the ones on Sunday. But she's not a sports fan. But you know what? She can watch all of her shows. She still got 25 episodes of Grey's Anatomy to watch on the DVR, and I keep getting on. I'm like, come on, you gotta watch at least 5 of them because I gotta make room for my boys from my crew.
There's the real.
I told you. I told you that's the real reason. You know this. You got episodes 1 through 23 of Grey's Anatomy. It's like, come on.
That
Man.
requires effort of sitting in bed or on the couch and pressing the play button. And staying my ass up to watch them.
Well,
because then I'm gonna fall asleep.
Well,
I'm too damn tired.
Well, you know that's okay though. That's okay. I will find a way to make sure they all stayed on that DVR. That's for sure. But
I guess.
No, this was fun. This was great. When it's all said and done, like this is the part of just sports history where we all just look back and like, yep.
I love you, honey.
I agree with the hype man too. The Bulls could have won, like Dennis said, they could have won 4 in a row. My wife's over here laughing at me because I'm talking in third person.
Oh, great. Sorry, all your viewers.
Oh no, they're okay. But you know, it was just a great time in sports history to look back at the Bulls and their journey to in my mind, you know, the greatest dynasty, if not definitely if in a lot of people's mind, one of the greatest, but in my mind, the greatest dynasty. So look forward to episodes 9 and 10 to close it out. Man, I wish episodes 9 and 10 were 2 hours each. I'll be up to 1, 2 in the morning. No, that's okay. I'm good with that. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this this live episode of the Hypeman Podcast. I'll also give you guys a heads up too. The Hypeman Podcast website is now live at the hypemanpodcast.com. I just got some clips of my live audio and some of my recorded audio throughout the months. It's just a couple for each month. Of course, that'll grow, and then also too, eventually my plan is to have a events calendar on there when I'm doing live podcast, just for the Hypeman Podcast. And then we'll see what happens there. It's just a nice, fun project I decided to do. It's been great. I love all the the love and support I've been receiving since I started this podcast in January of this year. So it's been fantastic. Thank you to everybody that has supported the Hype Man podcast. Really appreciate it. You can follow me. Also, too, this episode of Hype Man podcast will be live this Monday. So for if you missed it, or if you want to go back and re-listen to your boy, make you laugh, make you cry, annoy you, whatever the case may be, this episode will be live this Monday. And then you can also listen to my other live podcasts and my other previous podcasts, which are like 7 to 15 minutes. They're not that long. That was the original format that was planned. But as we all know, plans change. So, I went with the flow and came up with the live format. And so, yeah, you can listen to your boy on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and Spotify, and Podbean. So those are the platforms that I'm on. Again, the Hype Man podcast, or the Hype Man podcast, the Hype Man podcast website is now up. It's now live. It's got some content on there to where you can listen to some of my my live podcasts and some of my earlier podcasts that are, like I said, 7 to 15 minutes. So go out there and take a look. You can read about how this all came about. Again, I want to say thank you to all the love and support from everybody that inspired me to do this, everyone that has supported me, listening to me. I greatly appreciate it. I love you guys. You guys are great. And just be on the lookout for another live episode this Friday, which will be the last 2 episodes of The Last Dance, the Bulls documentary, for next Friday. So again, thank you everybody, and have a great night. Be safe and have a great weekend. All right, take care, guys. Bye-bye.